Welcome to the Ignite You podcast,
where two bros journey into all things spirituality and human transformation.
Let's get it. Cheers.
Welcome to Ignite You. This is Cam McDougall.
And I'm Ryan Miller. We lost him. He's gone.
We gotta redo it. I said, welcome.
Cheers.
Welcome to Ignite You.
What, dude? Cheers.
Welcome to Ignite You. My name is Cam McDougall.
My name's Ryan Miller.
And we're switching things up today. We are talking about, there we go. We're talking about afternoon practices. We've done the morning routines. Now we're diving into all things for you to do in your afternoon to help support flow states, to help support energy, to help support focus, to help support you living a badass life, living lit. So it's going to be fun.
Ryan's got his teacher pants on today. I can feel it.
Teacher pants, yeah. All things flow state, I'm a big nerd about. I love it. And we're going to actually have a proper episode on flow states. This is going to be kind of a mini episode on a few tools that we'll give you.
It's going to be a teaser episode.
A little teaser.
We're going to tease you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, we're there.
We're giggly right now. And that's okay. And that's okay, right? We own it.
We're giggly because we have so much energy from being so dialed today.
In our practices.
In our
afternoon practices. Because right now, it's 4:30 p.m. Did our practices.
Time for a nap.
It's nap time. Which is the first tool we want to talk about. And naps are kind of controversial, especially in the high performance space.
I'm very resistant.
Cam doesn't want to do it, but you do it sometimes.
I do now, it definitely, but I was very resistant for a long time.
Yeah, because it seems like, if you go down for a nap, you're not going to feel as good on the other side. Or if you're in for a nap, it means I'm doing less. It means I'm not working. It means I'm not showing up. How could that fit into my work schedule?
It also just made me feel like a lazy fuck.
Yeah.
That was how I deemed it.
Yeah. There might be some truth in there you can dig into.
Oh, no.
But no.
It's a soft spot. I haven't healed it yet. I just started napping.
Lean into it, man. This is an
Lean
invitation.
in, bro. This is about igniting the soul.
Lean in and nap.
Okay.
And we love a good nap.
We do.
When we talk about naps, specifically in this episode, we're going to talk about a certain type of nap.
Power naps!
Exactly. Like, it's a full flex power nap. That's what we're talking about. So strong with it, man.
I think my shirt ripped.
It's the crop top. But we're talking about power naps, yes. I love power naps. Cam now is starting to love power naps.
I do.
Okay, he loves them. It's official. Yes, we love them. And we're going to have some links for these things. So just know, first and foremost, below the video on YouTube, Spotify as well?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll have the links for everything, all the tools there. Power naps. Before we get into it, what was your resistance to doing it in the first place? I know you said it made you feel like a weak little bitch, but let's be real. Like, what was the resistance to kind of dropping into naps, just so we can acknowledge first what are the blocks around these things?
I just didn't like stopping when I was going full throttle.
Yeah.
I felt like I was already on task doing my thing, and I didn't like to interrupt my activity.
Yeah, and that's fair. But when it comes to the science of performance, and you know this as well, but it just feels good when you're in it to just keep going, keep going. But the science of performance says you need to take breaks to actually create proper flow states. A proper flow state does not occur over 90 minutes on average.
For sure.
So you cannot push yourself beyond that point and actually stay in flow, which is that creative process, which is that full focus, which is your full brain and body's ability to do a task. When we're able to break it up, we're able to reset the system and actually get back into flow. So when we break it up with a 10, 15, 20-minute nap, we're actually able to recreate that state by refreshing the nervous system. And how we do that with the power naps is with binaural beats. So it's not that you even need to fall asleep, because I know some people have resistance because they're like, I can't sleep in that period of time. I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. Why even do it? There's something called Yoga Nidra. And Yoga Nidra is just the ability to lay down, close your eyes, and tune into your body. Doesn't mean you need to fall asleep. It just means you're bringing awareness to the body. And these binaural beats allow the nervous system to calm down, allows you to check in with your body and just simply be. It can be like a meditation, or you can actually fall asleep.
And the ones that you use specifically start in alpha, dip down into theta, delta, then back up to alpha based on the time that you want.
Exactly.
We won't nerd out necessarily on brainwaves because we want this to be a quicker episode
you just
for
did
you.
It.
Well,
okay.
I
like it though. It's true. There is specific binaural beats, to take you on that journey.
But those are the ones you use specifically,
use that.
right?
Yeah. And that's what we're going to share. So
cool. So I just like jumped the gun.
You did
on your
good.
whole surprise.
No. I mean that's what we're going to share in the below.
But were you bringing it up later? Were you building them up for that? Like,
I thought we were teasing them a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
But it's okay. We're going to take your brain on a journey, and so will the power naps. That's the point of them. That's why the binaural beats are set up in that way. And within the power nap audio, there's also an alarm at the end that wakes you up.
And so it's really important, I think, to use the binaural beats because a lot of people have resistance to naps because they feel way more groggy when they wake up.
Yes.
And I think this is a really important one to bring up because that was one aversion that I had. Because when I used to nap, I used to think a nap was an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. It really depended. But I would always wake up and I'd feel like I was totally out of it. I'd feel completely zonked. And the reason is because we're waking up at the wrong point of our sleep cycle.
Yeah.
And the binaural beats kind of hack that system where they put your brain into a shorter sleep cycle. Because I think our normal sleep cycles are like 90 minutes, right?
Exactly.
On average.
Yeah.
And so the binaural beats will kind of hack that system a little bit and take you on a full sleep cycle journal. Excuse me, a full sleep cycle journey in a shorter amount of time.
Yes, exactly.
We're launching a journal.
Yeah, we are. You planted the seed.
You can tell it's on my mind.
It is. And these naps, these recordings for the naps are going to be 20 minutes or less. You're going to have a 20, a 15, and a 10. Easy ways to tap into it. Great places to start. As I said, everything's within the audio. It's going to take you on the journey, whether you fall asleep or not. All good. But if you're somebody who tracks your sleep, you might be surprised on what you can create and where your sleep can go and the state of your body in 10, 15, 20 minutes. For instance, I used to use Whoop all the time, tracking my sleep. I could enter REM. I could enter slow wave sleep, which is our deepest sleep. I can get into these spaces even quicker now. Mm-hmm. I can do it now in 5 minutes. It's just a trained behavior. At first, I couldn't fall asleep. So we're inviting this in so you can also train that behavior. And if you get a couple minutes of REM in the middle of the day in 5 minutes, that's going to take away so much of sleep needed at night as well. So there's also benefits to this long term if you can't get that longer sleep in the night. So
for sure.
We fuck with naps.
We fuck with naps. And I want to bring it back to flow states for a second. Why is that important?
Yeah.
Why do people want to, why break up your day? Why get into flow states? Why even nap? What's the benefit of that?
Okay. A lot of questions. What? Why break up the day?
Handle it all.
Say it all.
Just take it as shotgun approach, man.
I'm ready. Like I was saying before, we break up our day because flow states can only go so long. On average, the most we can get with a human brain is 90 minutes.
Okay.
And that's like the most on average. Okay. Realistically, you're probably really only in flow states like 30 minutes in a block. Okay. Actually in, because our attention is so scattered.
Yeah.
And because, as we talked about, our reactiveness in the calm and the codes in the chaos episode, we're so reactive. It's rare that we can actually get a singular point of focus, which is one of the main points of flow. So when we're inviting this in, when we go into the next technique, we're going to be talking about that and why it's so important to have a singular pointed focus with flow. And so the naps actually create that space. Because for someone like how Cam used to be, like how you were, what you just push through. You're like, I'm going to do it. But by the end of the day, you feel fucking burnt out probably. Mm-hmm. Your system's shot. You don't feel good, whatever, because you just push through this big block. And instead, you can actually break it down into these incremental cycles that are actually going to serve the longevity and focus. Whenever you're doing a project, you can break it down into these little blocks, which brings us into the second technique that we have to bring forward is the Pomodoro technique. Mm-hmm. And I know this is one that you don't like to use either. Or currently.
Yeah, so I have aversion definitely to breaking up my days, but I just want to add to the naps. Like before I had aversion to naps, I used them. And without naps, I wouldn't have gotten through post-secondary.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would read and study. And the moment that I got tired and couldn't retain information, I'd take a power nap. And then I'd wake up and I'd feel so recharged and rejuvenated that I could actually start remembering stuff again. I stopped using them after that just because I got really busy and I got really into this like more masculine mentality, which ultimately led into my resistance to Pomodoro. I tried it and I just found that for me, I think I was doing like the 20-minute, 5-minute, 20-minute, 5-minute, 20-minute, 15-minute.
Yeah.
Kind of like 3 cycle rest with the third one being longer.
Yeah.
And I found that for me, I slowly ramp up into my work. So I'm not just like immediately in it. I kind of start to get into it. I immerse, I start to find flow, and then I'm in it. And so I was finding that it was almost cutting off my flow because it would pull me out too soon. So I stopped using it before I realized that I could actually just make it longer work cycles.
Yes.
But yeah, why don't you explain the technique and then we can get into that.
Yeah. I mean, you just went into it. One of the methods I like to use, which is the 25 split. So you do cycles of 20 minutes of work bouts. Again, singular point of focus, which means 0 distractions on the phone, notifications turned off, whatever you're doing, whatever project you're on, you focus completely on that thing for 20 minutes. And I will say, before going into that, why I like the 20-minute bouts is because I'll go into flow state beforehand, using flow triggers, which we'll talk more about. We're making this episode super concise.
Yeah. Next episode, you're going to get a bunch of flow triggers.
There we go.
Not next, but next episode on flow state.
Yeah, maybe the next episode.
Maybe
Who knows? Who knows?
We'll see.
We know. But
he knows. I don't know.
I'm in flow. Let's go. So
I'm in flow. Let's go. That should be a t-shirt.
Exactly. So with that, the 20 minutes are work bouts. The 5 minutes are the opposite of work bouts, meaning you're moving your body, you're activating your body. You can do whatever you want. What I recommend is things that will also create flow states going into the next block. Could be triggers, could just be things that you want to do to move your body. But getting out of that mental state and that mental kind of focus, moving and then getting back into it for the next block.
What about naps in those rest blocks? How do you feel about that?
Ooh, what I did
mixing Pomodoro and napping.
Oh, that's an interesting method.
It's kind of saucy. You know?
What I would do before is do the 25, 25, 25, and on that last 5, like you said, make it a 15.
Yeah.
But then just extend that to a nap and then go to another cycle if I want to do another block. Because doing it in those blocks, it's kind of quick to like set up the space and get into a nap. It could feel kind of rushed. Mm-hmm. But if you do longer blocks, like you were talking about before, it doesn't have to look like the 25 split. It can look like you do 60 minutes and then you do 15 rest. Or I say rest, it can be active. But it's just getting out of the focused state and into a place of movement, into a place of activation. I love to play. I love to like shake. I love to dance. I love to do really weird shit with my body because it completely resets the body.
And it's so different than the work that you're doing. Like I love that you do this because Einstein used to do this. Einstein used to crochet. Mm-hmm. If he couldn't solve a mathematical problem or he couldn't solve some form of theoretical problem, he would sit down and knit.
Exactly.
And that was his balance. It was so different. It was so coordination focused, so creative as opposed to analytical, which helped him balance out the brain and actually stay a lot more alert and attuned.
Exactly. You get to switch to the different sides of the brain. You get to switch to kind of left, right side. And most insights happen in the periphery, meaning most insights for a project, for a thing, happen when you're not directly looking at it or doing it. So when you're in these 5-minute blocks, you're in these naps, you actually get insights that you wouldn't otherwise have because you're in the periphery. You're in the space outside of your regular point of focus. Mm-hmm. You actually get to see what you usually wouldn't see because you're not stuck in it. Like the analogy, you have to get off the mountain to actually see and appreciate the mountain. If you're on it, you can't acknowledge it for its wholeness. So these are little things for you to do to take space from the thing. Yes, it's going to feel good. Yes, it's healthy. Don't sit down all day. That's obviously bad. We know this. So move in between these blocks. Yes, take a nap. That's great for you. And it's going to be helpful for your work. It's going to be helpful for you to drop into these projects to get new creative insights, to help with your focus, to help with these flow states. It's going to support in all areas if you can start implementing even a little bit of this. Like I was saying, the blocks don't have to look like 25 because that might be hard in your workspace. Maybe you work a 9 to 5.
For me, I like 90s.
Yeah,
I do
like
90 minutes blocks. And for many years, I actually picked 3 90-minute blocks every day, and I allocated one task to each of those. And so it kept me really focused. And so I would do 90 minutes, rest, 90 minutes, usually have lunch, 90 minutes. And then if I had more time left in the day, I would do more admin, mundane stuff. But I would reserve my very important tasks for those 90-minute blocks, the ones that needed all of my energy.
Yes. Beautiful. And that's something we do in the journal as well. We create invitations for people to actually write out those flow blocks. What one thing will you work on in those blocks? And it's super supportive. Yeah, depending on the task, depending on the project, depending on what you're working on, the length of time is going to support. Depending on how you can drop into flow, depending on how you work, it's going to be helpful to actually think about these things. So the Pomodoro technique, yes, give it a try if you haven't. Naps, got to do it. Implement naps. It's something I do every day. 6 out of 7 days. I'll sometimes miss a day a week, but I at least get a 10-minute nap in. It's just a complete reset. The third thing we're going to talk about.
Before that.
Yes.
Really cool aspect of this. Think it's going to push a lot of you to do it.
Sweet.
If you have reservations against Pomodoro or flow blocks, know that if you give yourself an allocated time, you're going to apply healthy amounts of pressure to you. I have found that when I work too much, I get tunnel vision and I can lose myself in a task. So for instance, if I'm learning how to edit something or do a new form of, cutting out background noise, let's use as an example because I was learning how to do that the other day. There's so many different ways to learn how to do that. And at the same time, I had allocated a block for that. And so the first thing I learned that was the easiest thing I learned, I took it, I did it. Yes, it probably didn't get me 100% of the way that I wanted to be, or 100% of the task I wanted, but it got me 80. And that 80 was good enough. It's perfect. No one's going to notice. Moving on to the next thing because I knew that I had allocated other time to other tasks. And so it pushed me to not procrastinate and be like, well, I'm just looking at how to take out this background noise, so I'm going to watch 5 YouTube videos and find the best one. It was, no, this one worked, done, next. And it really helps productivity because it applies that healthy amount of pressure to you.
Yes, it takes out the procrastination masturbation, gets rid of that because you have a timer that's going on.
Speaking of the third tool to break up your workday.
Wait, I'm not aware of the third tool anymore. I think we have a different tool.
Well, looks like we didn't really cover our bases before we dove into this episode. Go on with the third tool, right?
What's the third tool?
You said procrastination, masturbation. I was making a sex joke.
But what is the third tool?
The 2-minute tune-in.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Come on.
I actually forgot.
I distracted him with
I'm like, wait, are we masturbating
He's
and
like,
just
is
edging?
this about an edging episode now?
I mean, the 2-minute tune-in.
How come everything goes back to sex with us?
Because everything is sexual energy when you look at source. When you look at where we come from, I'm not going to go down that path.
God, you're so
the 2-minute
spiritual.
Tune-in could be along those lines, but it's a tool that Cam and I created for a challenge we did before to get people to break up their day and tune in. Because it's so often that we use meditation or practices like breath work or tools to just drop us into our state in the morning, potentially in the evening, and we forget, oh yeah, we're going through the day and maybe we're in a pattern, maybe we're in a cycle, maybe we're not doing something that's actually serving our truth, maybe we're not dropped into our body. The 2-minute tune-in is obviously 2 minutes. But the point of it is to allow you to just drop into yourself for a moment. And you'd be surprised on what can happen in 2 minutes when you give yourself that space. And it could look like you implementing that into the Pomodoro technique. It could look like you combining that with a nap. But this tool we found, because we run it in a challenge, we did it ourselves, has beautiful ripple effects that occur whenever you use it, because it just allows you to drop into what's real in that moment. It's good.
And a lot of these tools like Pomodoro and napping can seem a little aggressive. Well, napping's pretty easy. You just decide you're going to have a 15-minute
An
nap.
aggressive nap. Well, the power nap sounds aggressive when you flexed.
What?
Yeah. It's
Anyways.
not. It's gentle.
It's gentle. It's soft. It's feminine. When it comes to the 2-minute tune-in, this is a great entry point for breaking up your day.
Yes.
Because, let's be honest, you can't find 2 minutes to just take a moment to reflect. If that's the case, your adrenals are way too shot, you got to reach out to us. We got to help you out because shit's looking pretty bad. All right? Everybody can find 2 minutes. So you just take it, you fire in the headphones, you just take a moment to tune into where you're at, and you take action from that. It's a really good shit test to help you see if you are going down a rabbit hole and not being productive, if you're procrastinating, if you're burning yourself out.
Yep.
It's a great way to just reflect on where you're at and how you're executing your tasks, and can help you maintain a much more powerful level of focus or discipline throughout the course of the day. And it's very easy to start. Super simple. It's going to be in the notes. We're going to give you a link. We'll upload it to YouTube. It's a tool you can use as much as you'd like.
3 tools in under 30 minutes. It was so hard for me not to just expand on all these things because I love flow state so much.
But we're going to. There's going to be a whole episode on flow state.
I know. There will be. So enjoy those tools. Use them. Reach out. Let us know if you used them. Let us know how it went. Let us know if you have blocks around it. That's always a fun one that we love to, talk about and to check in with. Let us know insights around this.
These will light you up. These will activate you. These will support you dramatically. I know it's hard to believe that a nap will ignite your soul, but it truly will, because when you wake up feeling regenerated and energized, you're so much more clear than if you're just pushing. So get your naps in, tune the fuck in, and stay lit.
Boom.
Bing.
That's it.
Bang.